Hi everyone, welcome. I'm Dr. Kate Owen and today I'm representing the Queensland Institute of Family Therapy. And I've created this video because I would love to share with you an activity that I use in my clinical practice and also an activity that I teach and share when I'm mentoring other counselling and mental health professionals. So the activity is called Merging Cars and it's about inviting newcomers into a family or into a system. So let me acknowledge the original activity came from Working Therapeutically with Families, Creative Activities for Diverse Family Structures by Castleman and Hill. It's a great book. I've adapted the activity to fit with lots of different types of systems. And so who is the activity for? So it's for different families, and I'll give some examples, but also different systems where there are newcomers that are entering into that system. So for example, you as a therapist could use this to talk with a family about how a new step parent will be merging into the family. You might use this as an activity when you're working with the merging or blending of two families. So there's multiple children and the couple are merging into the one family system. You could use this activity if you work with foster families or residential workers in the child protection system, because often there are children that are coming into the foster home or into the residential system, and that always is a time of readjustment and recalibration. And also you could get really creative and use this activity for team building in organizations where there is a lot of change in staff and thinking about how the team invite newcomers into the existing team environment. What is the purpose of this activity? Okay, it's got a few different purposes. One, to normalize the challenge in accepting new members into a system. It's also an opportunity to validate how individuals feel about these different changes that happen. If you're working with young kids, it's a great visual, concrete activity to discuss a topic that can sometimes feel a little bit abstract about how do we welcome the step parent into the family. That might seem a bit vague. So this is a concrete way of processing. It's a great conversation starter. It's an opportunity to reflect. And it's also an opportunity to troubleshoot any challenges in advance about welcoming newcomers into the family or into the team system. So what do you need for this? So you'll need some toy cars. So you might have those in your clinic already, or you might have to rummage around in your children or grandchildren's or nieces or nephews' toy boxes to get those. A piece of paper and some pens to draw a road, but that's optional. Really, having just the cars is enough for this activity. Okay, so let's talk about setting up the activity. So let me show you what that would look like. So first of all, you explain to your client or to the family or to the team you're working with that it's difficult for already existing families and systems to allow newcomers. So you set up your road, and again, that could be nothing. You just could be using a table. You could use a piece of paper and draw a road. But here I have rated my son's Lego box and I have his Lego road. Then you set up the cars in one lane and you put them bumper to bumper. And then in the second lane, you can have the car that needs to merge. And you can encourage each person to try and help the cars to merge. So you physically ask them to try and see where people could move in, what needs to happen to allow that car to come in. And so it's a great experiential activity for them to feel, what is this like having someone merge in? If you would like to set up the activity to represent two families merging in one lane, you could have the number of families in one household, and in the other lane, you might have the number of family members in the second household. And then you could actually talk through and think through, what is it like for two cars in this lane to try and merge over here? So you can be creative in any way that you think would be helpful for the people that you are working with. So then it's about the discussion. The first step in the activity is to reflect on the practical considerations of merging cars on the road. So keep it really concrete and pertained to the road rules and what happens on the road. So the discussion points would be, what must the cars be cautious of? What must they be, aware of because of the merging situation? That will create great discussion. Another question, what must other cars on the road do to allow a car to merge? Pull that apart, dig down on that. You might throw out the question, who has the more challenging job on the road? Is it the car trying to merge, or is it the cars that have to let that car into the lane? You might then come up with some ideas about what happens if the cars do not allow the car to merge. What will happen then? You could talk about what feelings might arise in the different cars and drivers on the road. What frustrations might they have? What frustrations might they have trying to merge, but also frustrations in terms of people trying to merge into their lane? And then you can have some creative discussions around, well, what's the worst thing that could happen here? What's the best thing that could happen here? And just come up with lots of different talking points. Then the next step of the activity is to take all of that wonderful thoughts and reflections and comments, and then apply it to then the family or to the system who you're working with on that day. And so just a few prompts, because the discussion generated from that first part of the activity, you will then weave into this conversation here, but just a few prompts as to be helpful for you. How is this like your family? Or how is this scenario that we've talked about today like your system, your team, your residential system? What things have you done to allow another person to merge into your family? You could highlight strengths. You could talk about things that have been working. And then you can reflect on what did this activity highlight for you? What are some extra learnings, extra insights? And then you can have a great discussion around that too. Okay, so if you would like more videos related to clinical activities that you can use in your practice, then subscribe to this QIFT YouTube channel. You can also subscribe to our monthly newsletter. We give lots of links to free resources every month. You can join us for professional development workshops. Just go to our website and check out what we've got coming up. Or you could choose to study with us in our 2-year accredited program. So follow us on Facebook, and Leonie and I look forward to connecting with you and sharing more resources.